We begin with President Donald Trump expressing growing frustration with Russian President Vladimir Putin amid the Kremlin's latest assault on Ukraine. In a social media post last night, he said Putin has, quote, gone absolutely crazy. In the same post, though, he goes on to criticize Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky while blaming him, Zelensky, Putin, and President Joe Biden for the war. Earlier in the day, on the tarmac in New Jersey, outside his golf club there in Bedminster, President Trump spoke about the situation to reporters.
I'm not happy with what Putin's doing. He's killing a lot of people, and I don't know what the hell happened to Putin. I've known him a long time, always gotten along with him, but he's sending rockets into cities and killing people, and I don't like it at all, okay? We're in the middle of talking, and he's shooting rockets into Kiev and other cities. I don't like it at all.
Mr. President, what do you want to do about that?
I'm surprised. I'm very surprised. We'll see what we're going to do. What am I going to tell you? You're the fake news, aren't you? You're totally fake. All right, any other questions? I don't like what Putin is doing, not even a little bit. He's killing people. And something happened to this guy, and I don't like it.
It is hard to argue that President Putin of Russia's behavior has changed at any point during this war. Trump claims things so there. But the president's comments come just hours after at least 12 people were killed throughout Ukraine as Russia launched over 350 drones and missiles into the country overnight into Sunday. Dozens more were injured then in one of the largest assaults of the war so far. It was followed up with more attacks this morning after Trump's words, marking the third consecutive day of large-scale strikes targeting civilians. Now, as Russia launched missiles and drones throughout Ukraine, both sides did complete their largest prisoner swap of the war. It was done in 3 phases from Friday to Sunday and included hundreds of soldiers from both sides. The terms, which were agreed upon in those meetings in Turkey earlier this month, included 303 soldiers exchanged yesterday, 307 combatants and civilians on Saturday, and then 390 back on Friday. President Zelensky posted on social media celebrating the news while vowing to bring home every soldier captured by Russia in the war. Joining us now, the editor at The Insider, Michael Weiss. Michael, we're always so grateful when you join us to talk about the situation in Ukraine, and a lot to get to. Let's start with President Trump's words just now, where he is claiming somehow that Putin's behavior has changed during this war when it has not. Putin has been dead set on claiming Ukraine, or as much of it as he can, since February 2022, if not earlier. And also, tell us about that, the shift you're seeing. And also, you know, Trump has been angry at Putin before, briefly, hasn't done anything about it. Putin seems to know that, and that's why he's acting in such defiance, continuing these strikes.
I think the most generous interpretation we can make is that Donald Trump genuinely believes that the force of his own personality, and I suppose his charisma and his intellect, could bend Putin to his will, and that Putin, as a gesture, good grace, if you like, would stop the war, pause the war, diminish his capacity to do harm in pursuit of these negotiations. And, you know, the Russian president's response is F off, basically. He's humiliating Trump. He's embarrassing Trump's so-called peace process. He's showing through fire and steel that he has absolutely no interest in stopping the war, either temporarily or permanently. I mean, the Russian goal has been from day one the complete conquest of Ukraine. What they can't capture through military means, they seek to capture through political means. I mean, Dmitry Peskov, Putin's press secretary, said this in the New York Times, or was quoted in the New York Times, rather, saying, we would very much appreciate if America's political structures would essentially complete our ambition for us, which is the wholesale capture of the state of Ukraine. So I think Donald Trump is finding out the hard way that he cannot end this war. Certainly, he wasn't able to do so in 24 hours, as he famously said on the campaign trail. He can't even do so in the space of more than 100 days of his second term. Now, the question is, and here's where I'm a little bit skeptical, actually more than a little bit skeptical, the question is, what is he prepared to do about it? And there's a lot of things in the U.S. Arsenal, and I don't just mean weapons arsenal, sanctions, financial penalties that can be inflicted. And Lindsey Graham, who is the Trump whisperer in the Senate, has this neutron bomb of a sanctions package, which would impose 500% tariffs on any country importing oil, gas, petroleum products, or uranium from Russia. He says he's got more than 80 senators on board to pass this bill. It's a veto-proof majority. Where is it? It is well past time to impose a cost on what Russia is doing. And yet here we are talking about future talks, possibly at the Vatican. Trump is very upset, but he's upset not to the point of preparing to do anything policy-wise. So this is the source of Ukraine's frustrations. Give us the weapons, give us the sanctions.
Yeah, that's just it. I mean, we know we've chronicled for a decade that how deferential Trump has been to Putin. There are these rare flashes of anger, but never any follow through, and there's not a lot to suggest that will change. Of course, we'll be watching. So talk to us about the state of the conflict, Michael. Right now, at least, the U.S. is still sharing intel, still aid is still going. That would be significant if that were ever to change. But what is Ukraine getting from Europe right now? How are they able to hold up under this new Russian onslaught?
So if you strip away all the noise and the rhetoric and the tweets or Truth Social posts, what is happening right now is not as catastrophic as it may seem. The United States is currently selling weapons to Ukraine directly. But most important of all, Jonathan, we are allowing third-party transfers of some of the most important platforms and ammunition that the Ukrainians require. They need three things that only the United States can source: long-range air defense, such as the Patriot missile, rocket artillery, such as ATACMS and GIMLRS, which are the ammunition used by HIMARS, and howitzer ammunition, 155 millimeter shells. Where we're not donating anything to the Ukrainians, we are allowing third-party allies such as Germany to transfer weapon systems and ammunition that they've purchased from the United States to the Ukrainians. So the Germans, for instance, just sent 100 PAC-2 Patriot missiles plus 125, I think, GIMLRS to Ukraine. As long as that continues, and the Europeans now, suddenly they've got religion in the sense that they realize Donald Trump is not on board with their 30-day ceasefire, is not willing to sing from the same hymn sheet as they with respect to punishing Russia. Now they're realizing all they need to do is buy stuff from the United States and transfer it to the Ukrainians. So the thing to watch here in terms of Donald Trump's deference or fealty to Putin, if he puts an end to the end-user authorization for these weapon systems, in other words, if he tells the Europeans, you can buy from us, but don't be transferring any of this stuff to Ukraine, that is the death knell. That is the full-scale abandonment of Ukraine by the United States. If that happens, game over.
And Michael, it's Ali Vitali here in Washington. You can sort of see the Europeans and the Ukrainians preparing for any eventuality, including that one, as they hew much more closely to each other. The Europeans, for example, putting in place their own new sanctions package just a few days ago, not willing to wait on Washington. But can you talk about where you think this ends up if the U.S. ultimately does pull out of its role in negotiations? We've seen the administration say, OK, we're leaving sanctions off the table just for now because we want to keep the line of communications open. Do you think that Russia would pull away if those sanctions were in place? But also, what does it look like not to have the U.S. as a negotiating partner in this?
Well, it's very interesting. If you look at sort of the Russian information campaign, influence campaigns, what they're trying to do now is they're mercilessly attacking the Europeans because they understand that if Europe is responsible for sustaining this war, it can actually do quite a lot on its own. The good news here is when we talk about who time is on which party's side. Right now, as of today, what Ukraine needs for its own defense capability, it's about 40% is domestically sourced, including and especially these innovative drones that they're manufacturing at scale, both seaborne drones, aerial drones. There's a 25-kilometer buffer zone across the entire contact line, about 1,000 miles, which is a sort of no man's land of drones. This is why neither side can break through. So 40% Ukraine makes at home. The other 60% is about evenly split between the U.S., we provide 30, and the Europeans provide 30. The more time goes by, the more Europe will be able to procure weapons and provide the Ukrainians more of what they need. So this is the reason I think you see this kind of kabuki theater or this fandango with Zelensky and the Europeans trying to keep Trump seized of the moment, if you like, or on board, because they do need the United States to continue to provide, as I've said before, these long-range air defense systems, rocket artillery, and ammunition. But the more time goes by, the more Europe will be able to step up, and the United States won't be as vital an ally as it is today.